So the Kansas City Chiefs continue to struggle to rush the passer. And we also have got some bad news on the injury front. So Omar Norman Lott, the rookie defensive tackle, he suffered a season-ending torn ACL in Sunday's Week 7 victory over the Las Vegas Raiders. The Chiefs, they're in the middle of the pack, 15 sacks through 7 games. The Chiefs have produced a 38% pass rush win rate, PRWR, according to ESPN research. That's the 21st best in the league, which is not really good. Steve Spag's defense is barely averaging more than 2 sacks per outing. And obviously, this Chiefs team, we're hoping to compete for a Super Bowl. So we're going to have to improve our pass rushing efficiency, obviously. Felix Anudike-Uzomah is on IR. George Karlaftis is the only Chiefs defender with more than 2 sacks this season. Chris Jones hasn't really been, showing up on the numbers sheet with the sacks. He hasn't really been getting sacks. But it's evident that Chris Jones is still having a pretty good year because he's literally getting triple teamed every play, which is why I don't understand how other dudes aren't stepping up easily. Ashton Gillette, can't expect much from him. He's a rookie. So with help needed, obviously, we're going to be talking about some pass rushes that the Chiefs should consider trading for. And then we're going to also speak about a few running backs. So Jalen Phillips from the Miami Dolphins is somebody who came to my mind. And the reason why Jalen Phillips came to my mind is because he's a very good pass rusher that could win. Now, it hasn't been showing this year with the stats, but the Dolphins, they're 1-6. They're facing an eventual rebuild. Their 2025 season has gone completely horrible. Draft capital was required to try and accelerate the painful process ahead, obviously, for the Miami Dolphins. But their biggest bargaining chip at the trade deadline is Jalen Phillips, if you ask me. So Jalen Phillips, who's 26 years old, he is going to be headed for free agency in March. But obviously, he has a pretty tough injury history. And, there's other pass rushers under the contract. The Dolphins would be wise to sell high and trade Phillips. Phillips, he's been a consistent threat this campaign. 2 sacks and 22 total pressures, which is okay. Like I said, it doesn't really show nothing crazy. But playoff contenders should be looking for a guy like Jalen Phillips. Now, another team that's 1-6 is the Titans. So Draymond Jones, he's somebody that I've thought about. Jeffrey Simmons is obviously untouchable, but dudes like Draymond Jones, who's a veteran pass rusher, he's just a placeholder. He's on a 1-year deal. He's already accumulated 8 pressures and 2 sacks, while also recovering a fumble. So he could definitely be pretty solid for this Chiefs team with a useful inside-outside versatility. Kayvon Thibodeau is another option. The New York Giants, they're rebuilding around Jackson Dart at quarterback, Cam Scatterbo at running back. They've been good in these recent weeks, but their postseason chances are slim to none, especially due to that loss against the Denver Broncos. So obviously Brian Burns and Abdul Carter are the pass rushers of the Giants' future, if you ask me. The Giants did exercise Kayvon Thibodeau 50-year option, which guarantees him an underpaid $14.7 million next season. We know Thibodeau wants a extension, and that does make him a favorable candidate to be traded because of the control over his contract. He's recorded 2.5 sacks this year and 22 pressures, and obviously he's one of the most talented pass rushers who could realistically be dealt with the deadline, if you ask me. So we could get any 3 of those pass rushers. I've heard, people like Calais Campbell. I've heard names like Quinnen Williams, but I'm not really sure about the whole Quinnen Williams thing. I've also heard about, the Chiefs going to get a tight end like Kyle Pitts, which also could make sense. But I really don't want to revisit the Kyle Pitts thing because we've been talking about that for years. Now, people have been hearing some rumors that Quinnen Williams might be available. The 27-year-old defensive tackle for the New York Jets. I'm hearing that he might be available for a second-round pick. And guess a team that's been linked to them already, the Kansas City Chiefs. So let's really break it down when it comes to the Jets. So we know that 2025 has already been a season to forget for the New York Jets. They're the only team in the league yet to win a game with a 0-7 record through 7 weeks. Many around the league expect the Jets to be sellers ahead of the NFL trade deadline. Multiple teams around the league are monitoring Jets star defensive tackle Quinnen Williams, Now, Quinnen Williams, he's obviously the team's best player, if you ask me. I think he's the best player on the Jets unless I'm missing somebody. Obviously, it'll be disappointing for the Jets to have to get rid of him. But bro, they gotta start rebuilding. Like the Jets have to rebuild. This is starting to get bad for them, if you ask me. So the Chiefs could have formed an elite defensive tackle duo with Chris Jones and Quentin Williams. So the trade offer that I'm hearing is a 2026 second-round pick and the cornerback Joshua Williams to the Jets for Quentin Williams. That'd be a great deal, if you ask me, because defensive tackle is no doubtably the biggest need for the Chiefs right now. You know, the Chiefs defensive line as a whole is not really getting any pressure at all on opposing quarterbacks. And Derek Nandi, he's ranked dead last by PFF among all qualified DTs. So obviously a player that is as elite as Quentin Williams that can help this Chiefs team is too good of an opportunity for Kansas City to really pass up. They have to at least try. You pair him with the all-pro Chris Jones, it would complete in good Chiefs defense. And like I said, it's been rumored that a second-round pick would be enough to acquire Williams. So I did say that, you know, this deal would be good if you add Joshua Williams, just because, you know, obviously Aaron Glenn, who's a former cornerback, would love to have another cornerback on his team that's young. So that's why I said Quentin Williams could go to the Chiefs, you know. Quentin Williams is unhappy right now, no doubt. But we'll definitely just keep monitoring all these situations as the deadline is approaching. We'll keep seeing what's going to happen. The Chiefs, they also was trying to get Calais. Not trying to get, but I also was hearing people say that the Chiefs should try to go get, you know, Calais Campbell or just go sign Christian Wilkins. But I don't know. I think Christian Wilkins is injured, if I'm not bugging. I have no idea. But with Omar Norman Lott being out for the season with a torn ACL, it's just no way Brett Veach is sitting here and watching this D-line. He's like, yeah, this D-line's okay. Everything's going to be all right. Nah, Brett Veach knows what's up. Even Chris Jones said in his presser that Omar Norman Lott was helping him with the double teams. So for him to tear his ACL, obviously that hurts. Kyle Pitts has also been a name that I've been hearing that the Kansas City Chiefs could trade for. He could be the long-term plan in Kansas City when Travis Kelce retires. Now, I don't know about that, you know. We're going to see about that. If that was to happen, obviously, that would be great. And then who I made a video on already in Breece Hall, you already know that it's been rumors that he's going to be on the Kansas City Chiefs. So it's just a whole bunch of different rumors and a whole bunch of different takes right now. And I'm wondering what the Kansas City Chiefs are going to do. Like, I'm just ready to see it. A few running backs that they could go for is Breece Hall, like I said, Rico Dodwell, Tony Pollard, you know, Derrick Henry. I don't think the Chiefs could get Derrick Henry, though. That's just not going to happen. AFC, Keaton Mitchell, that could happen because the Ravens won't mind giving us Keaton Mitchell. You know, Jerome Ford, Nick Chubb, Devin Singletary, Jalen Wright, Alvin Kamara. So it's a few running backs on the market out there right now. But Kansas City Chiefs, they just have to go out there and see who they could get. But like I said, that Quentin Williams trade would easily get the Chiefs the best defensive line in the NFL. If not the best defensive line, because we do, you know, it would be hard to have a the best defensive line. But they could definitely have the best DT core in the league, you know. So that's that right there. If you enjoyed this video, man, like and subscribe to me. Your boy Chiefs Priority. I'm out. Peace.